Bantu Soul Society. The oldest human soul is the Bantu soul. Mushato mogolo wa batho thobela. Mushato mogolo wa malopo thobela. Malopo merolo ya badimo thobela. Re a iphekola batho ba tlhobaela re ditaba di phekola ke letšatši. Welcome to the Bantu Soul, where we are going to talk about everything Bantu.
Okay, so fela re thome mo. There is this perception, perhaps, that the word Bantu was coined by a German guy in one of his theses when he came here to come and study us. He called us Bantu, and apparently we also ended up calling ourselves Bantu. Can you please set the record straight?
Okay, thank you. Yes, there is within philology, Bantu studies, there is this idea that anywhere you find people who are trying to write about the Bantu, where does the term Bantu come from? Who is the father of the Bantu? They even call him father of the Bantu. Willem Hendrik Emanuel Blick, or Willem Blick, was born around 1825 in Germany, Berlin, and then he's supposedly supposed to have coined the term Bantu in 1857 and 1858, and then it first appeared in some of his grammar. He was writing something in 1862, and then he died in 1875 in Cape Town. So he was known as the father of the Bantu studies, what they call Bantu philology. But that is not true, because the very same people, I mean, it's like...
if I may interrupt, the 18, so I'm looking at the timeline. 18,
he was born around 1825.
Yes.
He first coined this term 1857,
Right.
apparently, because he did not coin this term.
Correct.
He identified, through the study of languages, he identified something common about the Bantu people, that they have the word Bantu for people in plural, and Muntu for people, for a person in singular. Bantu, Batu, Banu, Watu, Vanu. Understand? So he did not actually coin the term. He identified that the Bantu, this is what they call people as themselves, collectively. Basically, this is the only name we ever name ourselves with. Any other name we were named. Africans were named by the Romans. Ethiopians were named by the Greeks. Those who are talking about Al-Kebulan is named by the Arabs. So the only name we ever call ourselves, which we still call ourselves with, is Batu. You know, Batu Bahobe, Abantu, Abansundu, Vanu, Watu, Batu. It is still is very much part of our vocabulary, very much part of our language. So what he did, this white man, he identified within our language that there's something common about us, because the Bantu, they are a linguistic, they are a cultural, they are a spiritual community. Meaning, when we say linguistic, is that our languages is the same, or they have similar pattern. And at the end of the day, they have a same ancestral linguistic stock, that they trace their ancestral origin from one particular language, which these white people, they refer to that ancient language, the one particular language that we all spoke, which all the Bantu people, 75% of Africa's population, which is the Bantu, sprang from that one particular language. They call it Proto-Bantu. That this one language that we say is an ancestral language of all the languages of the Bantu. In their scholarly terms, they call it Proto-Bantu. So they identified that, they recognized that and identified that we have certain similarities. But this is within the linguistic framework, when you look into the linguistic framework. But we also have some cultural similarities. We also have spiritual similarities. Like, for instance, all the Bantu believe in Mudimu, Badimu, Butu. All the Bantu, they have cultural practices that are the same from here to the... Actually, this is... We are one group of people here in Africa, we can talk of cultural unity. That we have a cultural unity and different traditions, but one culture.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but that is not true, because when you go to Kemet, one day I'll just share that hieroglyphic. There is a hieroglyph, one of the hieroglyphic writings that says Bantu. Like the word
Yes.
Bantu,
Yes.
in a hieroglyphic
I've
form,
seen it, yeah.
that is found in Kemet. That is like Boma 3000 BC, long before this white man Willem Bleek was born.
Which I was also gonna get to the part where Maburu in this country, their history is dating, well, their documented history, it goes to 1652, which predates his book.
His book, yeah.
Which can only mean that Bantu were here, even in 1652. Now, and
They were always being called themselves Bantu.
Yeah, even
Bantu.
then. And then, now in his literature.
Yeah.
He coins the word.
He coins the word.
Yeah.
To the point that when you go in to do the researches about the origins of the Bantu, and then you go through questions like who's the father of the Bantu, they're going to tell Willem Bleek.
Yeah.
About who coined the term Bantu, Willem Bleek.
Yeah.
You know, and he first put it in literature in 1862. Before that, there was never any literature that stayed Bantu, except the hieroglyphics of Kemet, where in the walls you find Bantu. Ba is very prevalent in Kemet. Ba is represented by a bird with a human face. That bird with a human face is called Ba. Because Ba is a soul. So therefore, when you represent a human soul, what do you want to do? When you're using picture writing, you're going to use a human form
yes,
with wings. Because
naturally,
that is a hieroglyphic symbolism for spirit.
Correct.
That which fly high.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, it is false to say a white man came here and coined a term Bantu for us when in his German language there is no word Bantu, you know, or in any European language for that matter. So for some people again, you see, we go through a lot of self-hate, self-rejection, particularly the African Christians and the African academics. You must remember Steve Biko and some other philosophers, they have said that the most dangerous black man is an educated black man.
Yes.
Because you are actually educated to reject yourself. You find value in other things and other people because you were taught that these things of yours are superstitions, are mythologies, are fairy tales. You have no history, you have no concept of God, you are superstitious, ridden, fetish people, all of those type of nonsense.
So then you add to that, obviously, you are educated and then you are a Christian. I don't understand in what physical universe does that make sense. So now we have gone and we have identified that, you know, in many of the comments, a lot of people are asking, where can we learn more about all these teachings? And it is from that request, that calling from the people, that we then decided to co-found the Bantu Soul Society. Can you please tell us what went into the thoughts of really coming into this? What the spiritual aspect of it, the whole journey where that gave birth to today? Yeah.
Well, as you rightfully said, that most people have been asking for a place, an institution, a home where they can be able to study this, which is not really taught in school or taught in Sunday school, about the Bantu soul. Because anything about the Bantu is about the Bantu soul. So we find it necessary that we have to have a Bantu soul society where we're going to cater to the soul of the Bantu. The soul is a very complex thing. You know, we have in our Bantu teachings from here to Kemet, we talk about the 9 components of the soul. We talk about the law of the soul. We talk about the doctrine of the soul. We talk about the transmigration of the soul. We talk about the soul in its diversity, in its manifestation. So the idea of the Bantu Soul Society is long coming. As you rightfully said, people call for it, but also because over the years we've been advocating this thing of Bantu. But then a pivotal moment came when we were sitting, brainstorming with my favorite person I call Mohajaka, the Duchess of the Seas. We were sitting in Durban and looking up into the skies and counting stars and talking about African history, African philosophy, as usual. And then we thought, let's establish Bantu Soul Society. And then we came up with Bantu Soul Society. We register it as a non-profit organization, and then we developed the logo. We developed the curriculum, which we have about 9 modules. So, which the overall curriculum or the overall subject matter or identity is Afrikanity. So where we say from Christianity to Afrikanity, this is the mission, the aim, the objective is to take our people from Christianity to Afrikanity. Now, how do we take them from Christianity to Afrikanity? We take them through 9 modules, which is African spirituality, African cosmology, African ontology, African epistemology, African philosophy, African history, African culture, African calendar systems, and then African...
Did you say theology?
No. It's African ontology, cosmology, epistemology, philosophy, psychology, African psychology. So there are 9 modules that are designed to take our people through this journey from Christianity to Africanity. So fundamentally, it's a decolonization journey. It's a decolonization institution. It's an institution that is dealing with decolonization. So we're having 2 functions. One is educational, the other one is spiritual.
So basically, you are decolonizing the spirit.
We're decolonizing the spirit. We're decolonizing the African traditional African religion. We're decolonizing the African religious space, where you still have some of our people who are caught up in religious syncretism, and which is mostly this religious syncretism, mixture of African tradition and Christian religion, is always on the expense of the African tradition.
Correct.
So we are decolonizing the entire space, mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
So the aim of the Bantu Soul Society is the salvation of the Bantu soul. It's the salvation of the soul. We are there to remind our people that the body itself is a prison for the soul. In which way? Like mostly our people are tied up to the system due to the bodily attachments, like physical attachment, either going to the church, knowing very well that it does not serve their spirit or their soul in the most fundamental way.
People are looking for the intangible in tangible places.
Yes, they're looking for the intangible places. So we are trying, our aim is to create that particular platform. So we have 9 modules, and then we have also different ways of disseminating this knowledge system. We'll have online classes, we'll have lectures, group lectures, we have videography where we share some of the information on our YouTube channel, where of course people need to subscribe and get into our Bantu Soul Society channel, YouTube channel. And then we have motivational speaking, we have coaching, we provide several services in the service of the Bantu soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ai ba o kwele.
Yeah.
Ba o kwele go shao e shia go mpusha.
Thobela.
Moshate kwa mankgale raga. Ra leboga.